The move comes after it was reported that Mr. Soros was donating £400,000 to the campaign group to stop withdrawal from the EU. Best for Britain has now revealed Mr. Soros' Foundation has also pledged to match crowdfunding to the campaign of up to £100,000. He hit out a criticism of him and his decision to back Remain, saying, "I'm happy to take the fight to those who have tried to use a smear campaign, not arguments, to prop up the failing case." He denounced toxic attacks on him and said momentum must be maintained of the Remain debate. He wrote in the Mail on Sunday, "I consider Brexit a tragic mistake. Brexit is a lose-lose proposition both for Britain and for Europe. Politically, Europe, without Britain, will be weakened in its ability to defend and promote democratic values." Mr. Soros pledged to accelerate his campaign to stop Brexit within 6 months and warned the EU would not take seriously a narrow win to stay in a second referendum, according to report. He said, "A mere reversal of the 5,248 majority for Brexit is not enough." Get it? Move comes after it was reported that Mr. Soros was donating £400,000 to the campaign group. The majority for staying would have to be significantly larger to convince Europe that Britain's attitude towards Europe has fundamentally changed, and its decision deserves to be taken seriously. The trend is moving in the right direction. The question is how its momentum can be accelerated so that it reaches a tipping point in the next 6 to 9 months. Pro-Brexit critics have said the 87-year-old, who made £1 billion when the UK crashed out of European Zone in 1992, had no right to meddle in UK affairs. CEO Eloise Todd said Brexit could still be stopped by a meaningful vote in Parliament. She added the UK's future with the EU is not a done deal. There is still a vote to come, and people across the country deserve to know the truth about the options on the table, one of which is staying and leading in the EU. Thursday, January 11, 2018, protests kick off in Sofia as Bulgaria takes over its first presidency of the European Council. Hungarian-born Mr. Soros is one of the world's richest men and made $1 billion betting against sterling on Black Wednesday in 1992. The move followed Justice Secretary David Gorky insisting there is no plot to gag cabinet members who want a softer Brexit. The remarks came after it emerged 3 leading cabinet Brexiteers will all give keynote speeches on the UK's EU withdrawal stance, but Chancellor Philip Hammond will not take part in the coordinated bid to set out the government's position. Mr. Gorky told ITV's Peston on Sunday he is not part of the set of speeches that have been outlined today, but that doesn't mean that the Chancellor is not expressing his views both internally in the cabinet conversations, but also externally. So, I don't think that there really is anything in this. That this is somehow any kind of plot to gag a particular faction of ministers. Monday, February 5, 2018, Michelle Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. I don't think that's a fair characterization at all, in a bid to regain the initiative on Brexit after a rocky few weeks, during which cabinet tensions came to the surface. Theresa May is set to make 2 keynote addresses. Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, Brexit Secretary David Davis, and International Trade Secretary Liam Fox will also deliver speeches. But the only minister who backed Remain taking part in the project is Cabinet Office Minister David Lidington. Mr. Johnson will kick off the Brexit Blitz on Wednesday with a call for unity over Brexit. Getty. Mr. Soros pledged to accelerate his campaign to stop Brexit within 6 months. Ms. May will deliver a major speech on post-Brexit UK-EU security in Germany next Saturday. She will also make a keynote address in 3 weeks' time on the overall relationship with the EU, following a special away day summit of the Cabinet Withdrawal Committee at Chequers. However, Tory tensions remain to the fore as former minister and leading rebel Anna Soubry delivered a warning to the PM, asked if she believed there is a majority in the House of Commons to defeat the kind of Brexit the Prime Minister wants. Ms. Soubry told BBC One's The Andrew Marr Show if SHES not careful, yes. Pressed on whether she thought Brexit will definitely happen, Ms. Soubry, who appeared on the programme with pro-Europe Labour MP Chuka Amuna, said will it definitely happen. I genuinely don't know what is going to happen. Getty Chancellor Philip Hammond will not take part in the coordinated bid when Mr. Ma suggested that Ms. Sobri is closer in her politics to Mr. Amuna than she is to Jacob Rees-Mogg. She said I'm not denying that. International Development Secretary Penny Mordaunt said the series of withdrawal speeches would set out a Brexit division. She told the Andrew Marr Show what the public want is, they want the vision and they want some meat on the bones. Ms. Mordaunt insisted she believed a transition period was a given despite claims to the contrary by EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier. She said what I would say to the public is that actually the other nations involved in this are very pragmatic and have not been impressed with some of the language that the European Commission has used. Asked if it was a government red line to not have to grant full rights to EU migrants who come to Britain during a transition period, Ms. Mordaunt said it is what we are setting out in our position. Again, all of this is a negotiation.